Hello everyone, Mike here. Today I want to talk about 15 lead guitar techniques that you can start incorporating into your blues and rock playing. First one is pre-bends. You can also think of as reverse bends. What these are basically is you'll bend up to a note, and then rather than sound the note and bend up to it, you bend the note first without actually letting it ring out, and then you pick the note whilst it's already bent and then bring it down, so you release it after you've bent it up. Sticking with bends for just one more on this list, at number 2 we have Microbends. So it's kind of in the name, but microbends are like really tiny movements, you know, like where you maybe bend the string up like a quarter note. At number 3, we have Rakes. Rakes are basically a percussive kind of technique. Generally speaking, how you do this is you mute the lower strings and then sort of glide across them whilst they're muted and then into a note that you're aiming for. Number 4 on my list is one of my favourite techniques. I'm always looking for an excuse to incorporate this. At number 4 we have volume swells. This technique can give your guitar an almost pedal steel type of sound. Words that typically come to mind to describe this are atmospheric, ethereal, things like that. It always sounds best when drenched in reverb, and maybe delay as well. So the idea is you have the guitar muted on your volume switch, then you sound a note or a chord, then you gradually sort of roll the volume up and it creates this swelling kind of effect, hence the name of the term. The next one on our list isn't strictly just a lead guitar technique, it also kind of skates the line between chord work and lead playing, and that is double stops. So double stops are basically when you play 2 notes at the same time, as simple as that. And a common thing that you see in rock and blues music is you will bend 2 notes at the same time. The next technique is very similar to the one we just talked about, but it is slightly different in some ways. This one is Unison Bends. The way you're doing it is you're holding 2 notes again, but you're bending one to be in the pitch of the other. The next 2 on our list are more commonly associated with heavy metal, but you find them in blues and rock all the time. The first one is pinch harmonics. Now when I think of the blues and pinch harmonics, one player comes to mind straight away, and that is Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. And most of this technique lies in the right hand. You sort of nip in the string basically, with one finger and your pick. And you're trying to do it at the same time while sounding the note out. And that leads us to our next technique, which is typically associated with metal, and that is tapping. Our ninth technique that we're going to talk about is sliding. Is, as the name implies, sliding into notes. Our 10th technique is sliding but with extra steps. This is glissando. Glissando is where you'll take one note, pick it, and then sustain it and slide it between different notes. One guitarist that comes to mind who is really good at this, among many other things, is Matthias Asata. At number 11 we have Trills. And what trills are, basically it's when you hammer on and pull off a note repeatedly. Hendrix comes to mind for me straight away as soon as you hear this technique. So this is the only item on our list which did really fall into the realm of theory, but it's worth talking about especially for the blues. This is chromatic passing notes. So chromatic passing notes are a technique that you hear all the time in blues music, and rock actually as well. The easy way to explain them is they are essentially notes that are actually in the key of the song, but if you play them as you're on the way to another note that is in the key of the song, they're just a great way to add tension in that bluesy kind of feel, basically. Great examples of players who are great at doing this would be Stevie Ray Vaughan and Eric Clapton. At number 13 we have Syncopation. All syncopation means is that you're playing around the beat rather than on the beat. So in this instance, you're playing on the and rather than on the one. This is a nice rhythmic technique that can really spice up your solos. At number 14, we have ultra dynamic playing. So I suppose this falls less in the category of technique and is more about feel, but definitely in the blues and, well, any form of music really, dynamics is a very important thing. But in this particular context, I'm just talking about how you can go from a very light touch to really digging into the strings to really emphasize the emotion and the feel. Okay, and our last technique is playing nothing at all. sometimes the best weapon we have at our disposal is silence. You know, knowing when to leave the gap between a note, where you're just letting the song breathe and creating tension. So I think that covers it. There are obviously a lot more techniques than the ones I've listed here. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know, and please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And that is all for me for this one. Cheers, see you later.